Guys, happy Friday. Here we are, and I've got another important message for you from Archangel Michael. I'm actually kind of really excited about this message because I think it's something that I've talked about before in the past, but needs to be talked about again. Um, it's not that you can't hear your angels, you don't you just don't trust yourself. And that's what we're talking about today. It's not that you can't hear them. It's not that you can't see the messages, but you don't trust yourself. That's what it comes down to. But let's talk about why you don't trust yourself. Because how many times in your life have you felt something, had an intuitive nudge, and you didn't trust it? You have always been intuitive, downright psychic, but you don't trust yourself enough to actually listen to the message, the vision, the knowing, the seeing, the hearing that you're receiving. And why would you trust yourself? Let's be really honest. Because throughout life, when you have been given information or knowledge, you push it off. How many times have you met someone new and something felt off about them? And everything inside of you was screaming, no, 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 you can't trust this person. But then you allowed your empathy to talk you out of your intuition. Think about it, right? When you went on that first date or you met that friend for the first time and everything inside of you was screaming, danger, danger, danger. But you were like, you know what? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Anyways. And then everything would unfold exactly how you thought it would. Because you knew. But you didn't trust yourself enough to act on it. I'll give you an example. Several years ago, I had a friend, now a former friend, obviously, and I met them at a very dramatic point in their life. Me, being who I am, felt they were being mistreated. But I noticed a very important detail to how they moved. I noticed that as soon as they had a falling out with a friend, for whatever reason, whoever's fault, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, they would start to bash that former friend. I mean, really go out of their way to tear them down. I mean, literally would go out of their way. I mean, calling them racist, even though they probably weren't, but you get what I'm putting down. And everything inside of me told me, I know you feel bad for this person. I know you feel like she's being backed into a corner and being mistreated, right? But, but something doesn't feel right because she's going too far. She's doing too much. Because I can understand being hurt by someone, but there's a big difference being on this place of revenge or wanting to tear someone down because your feelings got hurt. And everything told me that you can't trust this person because they're going to do the same thing to you that they are now doing to them. So, being who I am, because they were in a very difficult position in their personal life, I didn't listen to my intuition. And things got weird. And she was very clingy, and I am very busy, and I didn't answer the phone call one time, or I didn't drop everything that I was doing because of her continuing crisis. And I immediately felt something that wasn't right. And I got this pretty intense email, or no, text message, excuse me, about how terrible I am and how dare I not drop everything for me. And then they went on social media and they did everything they could to absolutely destroy my reputation, even though I literally was just busy. She did the exact same thing to me that she had done to a former friend. And if I had listened to myself and listened to my intuition at the very beginning, I wouldn't have walked right into that. I wouldn't have. Now, does that make me completely accountable for this? No, I'm still a victim in all of this. I didn't deserve any of that. But my angels were trying their best to protect me. Did I deserve it because I didn't listen to my intuition? No, I'm not implying that either. But your angels are there to protect you, and they were actively warning me, and I didn't listen. I didn't listen. And I wish I had. But it was a valuable lesson in the process, one that I had many opportunities to learn before, but apparently I'm incredibly stubborn. But I've learned it now. Or how many times have you been at the supermarket and intuitively something tells you you need bread? You need bread. But you're like, I just bought bread. And then you kind of just shake it off. You kind of just shake it off, right? And you get home and you realize your 15-year-old son ate a whole loaf of bread. And now you don't have bread to pack lunch for school tomorrow for the kids. If only I'd listened to my angels and received that message. If only I'd trusted the fact that what I was receiving, the information that I was receiving was real. And I wasn't crazy. It wasn't just maybe I should get ketchup or maybe I should get bread. No, it was an intuitive download, because our angels are there supporting us in everything that we do, even going to the supermarket, even to protect us from people that are incredibly toxic. Yeah. Think about it like this. Imagine going on a first date and you hear or you feel butterflies. Did you know that butterflies are actually a warning sign? Butterflies is actually anxiety. That is your angels telling you, no, 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 no. This is not safe. Person is not for you. That is anxiety. That is run. When you feel butterflies, they're telling you, run. Run. This is not for you. See, we are receiving stuff from our angels all the time, but we don't always understand what they mean. Or we don't trust ourselves enough to believe that we're even worthy of receiving these messages. I remember early in my awakening, when I really sort of just accepted that this was real, I always said, why me? Why would I have this beautiful gift? What was so special about me? Listen, I still don't have that answer. I don't know. I don't know why God chose me. But I do know why he didn't choose other people. Because he knows that I do it because I want to help people. And it's not that I'm trying to manipulate or hurt people in the process of it. And who better to put this type of gift in someone that has a huge heart that wants to save the world? Think about it. Of course they would be gifted to people like us because we want to do good things with it. Imagine if God gifted people gifts like this who had pretty nasty ulterior motives. I don't think that'd be great. So of course, because Jesus Christ wasn't Jesus Christ until Jesus Christ was Jesus Christ, right? I just got my roots touched up. Leave me alone. And Buddha wasn't Buddha until Buddha was Buddha, right? We are all just people. But what did they do differently than you and me? They trusted what they saw was real. They trusted what they were receiving was real. And they trusted that they were worthy of these divine gifts. That is why the self-worth journey in your spiritual awakening is probably the most important journey that you'll go on. Because you can do all the meditations, you can do all of the things, but until you truly believe that you are worthy of receiving these gifts, you're not going to believe in them. You're going to write them off. You're going to pretend like none of it's real. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Because I used to do that. Or you overcomplicate things because you think it can't be this effortless. It can't be this easy. I can't just be in the supermarket and receive a download that I need ketchup. But what if it is? It's like meditation. Do you know that there are so many different types of meditation? And let me ask you this question. When we go into meditation to receive a message, Why are we turning our brains off? Why are we telling ourselves not to receive? Go into stillness. Because what if actually is happening is you are actually receiving information, but every single time you receive information, you tell yourself to let it go. Think about it. Why do you think, for me especially, we receive some of our best downloads when we're active? Like, I get some of my best channels when I'm at the gym, I'm driving, I'm in the shower. It's because we're not overthinking it. We're not trying to force ourselves into a specific frequency or alignment. We are getting out of our own ways and just letting it happen. That's why. That's why. I don't have to do 1,000,001 rituals to receive a message from angels, and neither do you. Most of us here are just naturally gifted, and we don't need to do all of that. But because it becomes so effortless, and we see all of these other people out here preaching all of these intense rituals, we write it off because it just happens for us. We just receive it in the car drop off in the morning when we're dropping our kids off to school or when we're walking to work. And we just get this epiphany, this aha, this information, this premonition, this whatever. But because we weren't at our altar, or we weren't doing a crystal grid, or we weren't doing a 10-step ritual to receive our angelic messages, we write it off. We write it off. We do. When in reality, how do I put this? Angels are so freaking powerful. Do you think that they need us to do a ritual just to send us a message? No, they don't. They don't. You can talk and receive to your angels anywhere at any time. At anywhere and any time. And you don't need to be at a specific frequency either to communicate with them. You really think a celestial being can't tune in Tokyo to reach you? Really? Really? The celestial being can't meet us at our level. You're crazy if you think and misguided. See, so many of you are being guided by people that are not naturally gifted, who had to work so hard to receive the information and guidance, or just the tip of the iceberg as someone that is actually gifted. Yeah. Who had to do all of these rituals and all of these other things just to receive the information, the little bit of knowledge that they have to share with you, or they learn it from somebody else and then they regurgitate it to you. That's not a divine channel. That's an educated guess. That's an educated guess. Your spiritual path is going to look like your spiritual path. Just like your DNA is so incredibly unique, so is mine. I'll say it. I've said this 1,000,000 times and I'll say it again. If your spiritual team says that the way to connect to them is by hopping on a one leg, that's very real. That's very real. Because your spiritual team connects to you the way they connect to you. They might say, the only way that you can receive messages from us is when you're cooking. Because that's how you receive messages from your ancestors. Think about all the times that you've been cooking and you don't need a recipe. That's cooking with your ancestors. That's cooking with your departed loved ones. That is how you're receiving generational recipes in the process. Talk about divine. Did you do a ritual? Or did you stand in front of your stove or cutting board and just connect? Think about it. Spirituality is inclusive and for everyone. I'll say it again. Spirituality is inclusive and for everyone. You don't need to do more to receive from them. You are already enough right now. Most of you have been with the same angels since birth. Nothing's changed. You are just more aware of their presence. Now, what you can do is to build a vocabulary with them. That works. Learning what different symbols or using tools to better understand them and have clarity. That is why I have tarot. That is why there's angel numbers. That is why people use so many different modes of communication. They are tools for you to have clarity and understanding of the message, not because they can't reach us, but because we are human and we do not have their vocabulary. So we have to build one with them. So you might say to them, whenever you show me a pink elephant, I know, stop, do not go. That is a bad investment. Or you might build something, every time I see a cheetah, you're telling me to be aware, but to speed up. Don't slow down, keep going. Building a vocabulary is what will make you understand and truly in tune with your angels and your spiritual team. It's having an impressive tool shed or toolbox, which is what makes you great. Because that is what has made me great. Why I'm where I'm at is because I have experience. I have seen so many different things that I have so much wisdom to pull from. Yeah, I can feel it. It's clicking, it's making sense. But a lot of you are also very frustrated with what I'm saying, because how can it be so simple? How can it be so easy? But my question to you is, why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? It doesn't make sense. Why would it be hard? If spirituality and everybody has their own spiritual team, why would it be hard? Why would it be hard? It just doesn't make any sense. I really hope you guys have an incredible weekend. I really think you need to stop underestimating how powerful you are, how psychic you are, how blessed you are, how capable you are. I don't think you understand how loved and protected you are, even if you feel like the whole world is falling apart right now. We are going through a massive transformation, this collective. We are putting to bed old identities and making room for new. But it all comes down to what decision you make and what program you're going to install inside of you. Who are you going to be this next chapter? How are you going to move? I believe in every single one of you here. I know that you can have the life of your dreams as soon as you start to truly trust your intuition, and believe that you are worthy of all of the angelic messages and blessings that they are trying so hard to shower you with. But you are like this. And you don't believe. How can they get through that? So, what's it going to be? Are you ready to receive? Are you ready to understand that maybe it's just easy? And maybe it's okay that it's easy? Because it's supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be hard. Life's hard enough. Communicating with your angels isn't supposed to be hard. And sure, I make it look easy. Why? Because I started. And I got out of my own way. And I'm just proof that you can do it too. There's no gatekeeping over here. There's no gatekeeping. I give you guys everything because I want you to have peace. I want you to have love. I want you to have prosperity. I want you to have all of it. So, I love you. And I will see you on Monday. Have an incredible weekend.